Please say something.
Diana.
What is it?
You're on my hand.
Help wanted. Hardscrabble space engineer wanted for contract work on ice planet Eden III. Must be able to operate a utility rig, fix just about anything with the press of a button, and fight off an unending torrent of enraged aliens. Side jobs are available and payments will be converted into T-energy. Qualified applicants should send a resume and photo of their impressive beard to the evil Nevik Corporation.
We're leaving no angle unexplored.
Very good. Science is always best, without boundaries.
The first thing you should do before playing Lost Planet 3 is forget everything you know about the series. If you haven't played the first two games, that's all the better. This entry is a prequel, and the terraforming of previous games hasn't happened yet, so Eden 3 is enveloped in ice and snow. Gone are the heavily armed vital suits, which have been replaced with unarmed utility rigs designed for mining and repair work. The despised T-energy timer mechanic is also absent, so you'll be able to battle aliens without having to worry about spontaneous death.
God damn, it's cold.
The next realization required for Lost Planet 3 is that it's very much a story-focused game. At the start, you'll get an upgradable rig, learn how to harvest resources, and start picking up various missions. It may seem to be an open-world resource collection exercise at first, but the game is instead built around the story. As soon as you've completed a core mission, the game neatly hands you off to whoever's in charge of the next one. There are only a handful of side missions, and many of them are familiar quests to kill X number of Y aliens, but they all fit neatly into the world and setting.
Want to help? There's an 8-grid nest just round the bend.
It's an interconnected space you can learn your way around, but the world of Eden III often feels less like a planet than a movie set, with conveniently placed broken machines for you to fix and an endless supply of hostile life forms to kill. There are several different large areas branching off from a central hub, and your missions will regularly send you back to the same familiar place with the same old aliens hanging around. Meanwhile, the stores back at base that sell upgrades and weapons have a limited inventory that slowly increases as you complete new missions. It's put together in an interesting way, but the artificial feel is just a little too obvious. Most of the gameplay is combat-oriented. Weapons are, for the most part, the standard rifle, pistol, and shotgun. Enemies come in 3 sizes: small, which are mostly cannon fodder, medium, which are a nice challenge without being too difficult, and extra large boss fights. Although the bosses feel both colossal and challenging, it can feel downright preposterous to take on a giant alien crab with only a shotgun and hunting rifle. It's impossible to keep enemies from rushing you, so even though your useful dodge lets you escape just about any attack, all the rolling eventually starts to feel kind of silly and repetitive. Rather than fight on foot, you're sometimes able to use your giant mech to take on larger enemies, but controls feel sluggish, and your view is often blocked by the close-up action. Many enemies can only be damaged in very specific ways, which at times makes these fights feel like an advanced form of a QuickTime event as you respond to on-screen prompts with button presses. When given the opportunity, you may find yourself bailing out of your rig to fight on foot, but the fact that you use your utility rig for repairs, combat, and simply getting around the hostile environment makes it feel like a crucial part of your job.
Okay, since you asked, here's why my face doesn't freeze.
Jim Payton may kill a lot of aliens, but he's really just an engineer who signed up for contract work on a small mining base. He's only really interested in getting his job done and sending his paycheck home to his earthbound wife and child. The guy is incredibly likable, and the video messages between Jim and his wife are so ordinary, they're touching, actually making the characters feel like real people. The entire cast in general shows surprising humanity and unexpected development. Some moments are awkward, but in general, Lost Planet 3 gets the characters, especially Jim, absolutely right.
I'm fine. I just found myself off the grid for a spell. Nothing I planned on.
The characters are great, but the drama around them couldn't be more ordinary. If you were to take a wild guess at the story, you'd probably be right. The corporation Jim works for is evil, and they have some secrets to hide. It's tempting to follow Jim's example, keep your head down, do your job, collect your pay, and write the story off as nothing more than office politics. Of course, in this case, office politics means fighting aliens and saving the mining colony on a daily basis. So there's more than enough to keep you occupied without your coworkers' melodrama. The story eventually picks up its pace well enough to drive you toward the conclusion, but it's not incredibly special.
My father believed you had to confess your sins if you want to be forgiven.
Multiplayer is almost a completely different game. In many ways, it's a standard third-person shooter experience, but there are a few surprises that make it worthwhile to explore. The progression system allows you to customize your character, but instead of tying you to one class or battlefield role, you can upgrade your character however you see fit. The upgrade tree is a sphere, and selecting upgrades in just one direction will get you the equivalent of a support class or a sniper, while selecting upgrades from all around results in a more versatile, all-around character.
It's halftime, but it's no time to stop and dance. Keep going!
There are the standard 5 versus 5 team deathmatch and control point games, but there are a few new variations on standard game types that are worth playing. There's a capture the flag game where the flag is an enraged monster. You have to fight the beast and the other team at the same time, or you could work with the other team to take it down and then fight over the corpse. Acrid survival mode is another fun one. 2 teams of 3 fight off hordes of aliens and then battle each other for control of a center point. Vital suits, miniature mechs armed with chain guns and rockets, make an appearance on some maps. They seem to be well balanced, offering improved firepower and a chance to get a leg up on the other team without completely dominating the game. Lost Planet 3's multiplayer isn't groundbreaking, but solid gameplay and clever variations on match types should give it some real lasting appeal. Lost Planet 3 isn't a particularly handsome or graceful action game, but beneath the somewhat dull surface, the characters and the multiplayer progression are outstanding. It's true that a lot of the game feels standard issue. Nothing's really broken, but there's certainly a bit of awkwardness. In the end, playing Lost Planet 3 is very much like taking a job on a remote ice planet. Most of the work is pretty ordinary, but there are enough bright spots and interesting people to make it a job worth taking.
Yes, sir. Just point me to my rig.